Hey, welcome everybody. Tonight we're going to do another edition of Blind Date with a Book. This is our February book festival. We're having a blast. Today, Jared Morningstar is here. Donnie Winter is here. Emma Palova is here again with us because she writes multiple genres. Andrew is here. He is my insanity provoker. And Kate McNeil is here. She is my sanity saver. So we're going to have a good time tonight. Let me share my screen with you and we'll get this party going. Here we go. Tonight is Blind Date with a Book. What's the title? We're not telling you. And the authors aren't going to spill it either. If anybody knows what the title is, don't share it. You'll spoil all the fun. Who's the author? Well, you know who the authors are, but you won't know who goes with which book until we start reading. And then what's the story? Well, you're going to get a little snippet from each one of these authors tonight. And hopefully you'll fall in love with some new books and take them home with you. So before we get started, we're going to have Andrew do our commercial for us. You want to do it, Andrew, or do you want me to do it?
Sure.
Go for
Unless
it.
Kate wants to do it.
Now, while Kate doesn't.
Okay.
While Andrew's doing our commercial, I'm going to throw up a poll and everybody can answer this while Andrew's telling us our commercial.
Answer the poll. But as you know, right now we're having some great books and some great authors, and that'll be going on all but 4 days this entire month. But that's not all. During this month, all the time, there are 6, count them, 6 mini workshops, starting with Social Media for Authors on February 11th with our own Kate McNeil, and she'll be telling us a little bit more about how to strengthen our brands. On February 16th, Strangelove, How I Learned to Embrace Contemporary Poetry as a Non-Academic. Michael D. Jones will be taking us on that journey and teaching us a bit, and we'll be having an exciting time. A fun title on February 17th, Poking the Comedic Derriere with author Christopher Gare, and he's going to be making us laugh, giggle, cry, do a little bit of everything, but we're going to have a lot of fun that day. Backwards and Forwards, Using History and Fiction. Julianne and Xander are going to be doing that on February 18th. On February 20th, we're pleased to have Andy Lockwood join us, and Andy is going to be showing us all how we can craft a book trailer for us as authors. And then last and definitely least, I will be keeping you up at night.
Not least.
On February 24th, we're going to go a little bit into how to build suspense in writing. And not only are we going to build suspense, but we're going to walk through a few stories and look at keywords and phrases and ideas that help poke our subconscious mind and make us a little more tense. It's going to be tons of fun. I hope that you join us. All of these are only $2. All it's doing is covering the cost of the technology. It's cheap at twice. No, it's cheap at 20 times the price. Join us. Let's have some fun together and learn a little.
Yay! Thank you, Andrew. You're so good at that. You do that so much better than I ever could.
No.
You're so good. Okay, let's get the party started. What we're going to do is I'm going to have each one of the authors read a little bit. They don't even know what order they're reading in tonight. It's going to be a gigantic surprise. So I'm going to show you the screen again so everybody can see what we're doing here. Wait a second. Where's my mouse? I lost my mouse. There it is. Okay, so here we are. We have 3 books that we'll be reading from tonight. One is obviously short stories. The other 2 could be poetry, could be short stories. We're not going to tell you. Each one of these authors is going to read for you, and then you're going to guess which author wrote which book. Then after everybody guesses, we'll reveal the covers. If you get all 3 of them right, what do you get? Well, because we only have so many prizes, you get bragging rights on social media tomorrow morning. But don't dismay. I've got more prizes to give away at the end of the session, so make sure you stick around for that. In the meantime, we're going to get right to the readings. And again, we're not going to tell you, the authors don't even know which order they're reading in tonight. So let's get the party started. Jared, why don't you just start us off with this?
All right.
Now, the authors only have 5 minutes to read, and I'm setting my timer and Kate's setting her timer. So you only have 5 minutes to read. So let's be mindful of the time. And ready, Jared? And go.
Alrighty. All right. So we're going to do a couple of poems today. The first poem I'm going to be reading is called Confessions of an Aging Teacher. He held them in the palm of his hand, lifting them high above his head like Atlas, his knees buckled. Knees that were older now, knees that were forced to support more weight now, all on what would have been enough sleep at 25 and single, but not at pushing 40 with insomnia every night, because he has a 7-year-old who thinks she rules the world, and a 7-month-old who just figured out how to open kitchen cabinets and is addicted to electrical cords. And he has to find money to feed them after bills are paid. Wait, how many lives am I holding? Looking upward, he saw dreams in vulnerable eyes. They couldn't tell he needed coffee, that his heart was pounding off beat, that his arms were shaking, that his knees were cracking. But he closed his eyes and kept his failing frame steady. I can't let them fall. I can't let them down. He knew their lives depended on him, just as his children's would one day on them.
Yay! And your next piece, go right into it, sir.
Absolutely. The second piece is called High Speed Midnight Drive to Heaven. I fired up that old V8 and it hummed along to the sound of the smoking Chuck Berry riffs on the radio as bright lights guided me to the highway. And as I broke free from the exit ramp's grasp, I felt the power of Detroit muscle in my hands as I squeezed the wheel tighter and the speedometer read 75 miles an hour and rising. Hail, hail, rock and roll. I sang along to the music and the screaming wind outside, and my hands felt like old Chuck's blistered, calloused fingertips as I held on to that wheel like I was bound for heaven and had to get there before sunrise. And no promise of a good night's sleep at a Holiday Inn was going to slow me down.
Hey, well done. You did that with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to spare. Well done. Well under time. Awesome. Okay. Donnie, how about you go next for us? Are you ready, sir?
I am ready. I'm going to read 2 poems for you tonight. And here is my first one. The sun seems angry this summer as each day measures and asphalt cracks. The remaining grass patches beneath the backyard maples have gone arid, and their crisps are muffled under each footfall, like the pops of bacon in a pan, while the flag, bleached and frayed, whispers as it waves July goodbye on a humid wind. As I shift with shortening shadows, I pray with roadside chicory for respite and sing for rain with a passing oriole whose beak has grown leaden in this drought. Even the stationary tractor in the field creaks and hides behind heat ripples like a man-made mirage. Dear planet, let this summer pass. Let this industrial standstill reinvigorate your hope in us. Permit those storm heads to peak above the west long enough to swallow the sun, retract these swords of grass to their sheaths, and give us the baptismal downpour necessary to soak the brine from our veins, to erode the walls that we build to keep you contained. Thank you. My second one is, my closet is a reliquary. The closet door has fallen from its track and sits, leaned against the dented drywall like a discarded portcullis, too weathered to keep me. Behind box-stacked skyscrapers, yellowed wallpaper peels, and the crayon mural still robs floral print of its optic illusion, like a political graffiti with elementary verve. The shelves still dip under collections of unread texts, and the bloated plastic drawers refuse to budge from their cheap retail compartments as each paper-filled basin brims. The air is linen stale, and the glued constellations above still keep this room lit, while the tired July sun slips beneath the tree line, lengthening each shadow across the brown shag carpet. These years later, I keep the closet door off its track because it's powerless, a prison-made museum, a memorialized womb left open since I left for college after a second birth. Now, my closet has lost its echo, and each stored memory maps a misshapen journey. So let these paper roadways return to nature and become overgrown, because this closet is a reliquary, a room for storage, unable to keep me.
Well done, sir. 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining on the clock. Good job. Wow. 2 great readings. Emma, are you ready, my dear?
Yes, I am ready.
All right. Go, madame.
The Temptation of Martin Duggan. The professor's bald head was shining in the bright morning sunlight. He was bouncing in front of the blackboard, explaining triple integers. He was now on his 4th board, all scribbled, with numbers and strange symbols. Martin was wearing a perfectly ironed white shirt with long sleeves from J.C. Penney. Rose made sure that the shirts had a pocket on the left side when buying shirts. He still favored light pastels, mostly blue, that match his gray-blue eyes so well. But Martin always bought his own pencils. They had to be pencils number 2, not too soft, not too hard. He found them the most comfortable somewhere in the middle on the scale of the hardiness of graphite. The pockets of all his shirts were full of pencils and pens. Martin took great care not to have any smears from his writing tools on his clothes. He diligently put the caps back on pens. Black had to match black, blue had to match blue. That way, he wouldn't confuse the color of his ink. Martin never used red. To match the white shirt, he wore his favorite gray striped pants from his striped suit reserved for special occasions. There was something about lines that had always comforted him. Lines commanded respect. They could be lines vertical, horizontal, or curves. And then came symbols, and Martin's love for them, like pi or the top of 8 symbolizing infinity. He traced the origin of his love for numbers and symbols to his childhood, and later growing up in the strict, austere atmosphere of the seminary in Brest. He had no intentions of becoming a priest, but parents lodged him in the seminary with his older brother Pete, so they could both receive good education at a cheap price. In the cold walls of the seminary, Martin found warmth in numbers. He felt free, unleashing his power in numbers and their swift magic. Numbers and ellipses on curves were stories to Martin. His own story was a roller coaster upside down, racing on a fast track, starting with a jerk at the faculty in Brno, former Czechoslovakia, which perched him to new heights at the University of Khartoum in Sudan, Africa. This was part of a socialist program to help the third world countries in the late 60s. Fresh with a new title, a wife that had just turned 30, and the Prague Spring 1968 movement, tearing the old country apart. Martin was ready to climb higher into different unknown spheres. At 34, he had a receding hairline, an impeccable command of English, and an expertise of an old professor. He made decent money in English pounds and bought Rose a set of pearls for her 30th birthday that she would later hate. She blamed the pearls for her destiny. According to an old legend, pearls bring tears and bad luck to their owners. Do not return home. Letters from the occupied Czech homeland by the Russians kept arriving. at the Pink Palace apartment complex in the airy desert city on the Blue Nile. Rose, wearing a yellow headband and a lime-colored dress suitable for the late 60s, shed more tears than the Nile had water in it as the two fought over immigration. She faithfully followed her husband on his career track that flourished to serve both the developing Sudan and the tossed Czechoslovakia in the heart of Europe. However, a new house, sick parents, and a jealous sister were awaiting back at home, along with a good job at the local pharmacy. One hot night in the late summer, right around her birthday, Martin kept fidgeting nervously around the kitchen, holding a piece of paper. The kids were outside with friends. I got accepted to a postdoctorate program in Canada, he said calmly, suppressing fear. Rose turned around from the stove and threw the dish towel on the floor. She pounded the counter with her small fists and tore off the headband. She stumbled into the open-air living room with a large French door to the balcony. Rose.
Well done. Thank you, Emma. Yay! Excellent. Well done. 3 amazing authors this evening with very diverse work. It's very cool. I love the diversity in writing that we're getting from these reading events. I'm really having a blast with that. Okay, so here we go. I am going to now share with you once again the screen. Here it is. Can you guess which book goes with which author? Ready? I'm going to throw the poll up for you, and everybody guess now. Once again.
Oh, wait, no.
Once again, I don't have prizes for people who get them right tonight, but hey, Donnie, no fair, you're cheating. But you do get bragging rights if you get them all right tomorrow. You can go on social media and brag all you like. Remember to use the hashtag PP Virtual Book Festival if you're going to brag.
Absolutely.
That will help us to get the word out about what we're doing and help to spread the word about these authors and their really fantastic work. Okay, we're almost there. 3 more people have to cast their votes. Almost there. So remember, hashtag PP Virtual Book Festival. Okay, almost 2 more people. 2 more people. I don't know which people are missing, but somebody has to guess or else I'm going to close this poll. We're going to miss out on your guesses. Look at that. Look how people are voting. Isn't that curious? Okay, ready? I'm going to end the polling. There we go. Now, here are the results. Do you guys see the results? There you go. That's who wrote what. And this is who got the poll right. So, see, we did really well tonight. Everybody, you know what? This is what happens when people listen carefully and pay attention. People get stuff right. Excellent. So, Donnie Winter wrote Carbon Footprint. Emma Palova wrote Shifting Sands. And Jared Morningstar wrote American Fries. Donnie, can you just remind me? I know Shifting Sands is a collection of short stories. American Fries is a collection of both poetry and short stories. Donnie, is yours just poems or poems and short stories?
Mine is just poems.
Okay. You're on my TBR list, but I haven't gotten there yet. You know how tall my stack of books is to read?
My list is lengthy too.
It's crazy. I have 2 festivals I'm trying to catch up from. Good job, everybody. Okay, Gary, congratulations. You got them all. Yay! Okay, so while I'm going to show you a couple of other things, you can start formulating some questions and throw them in the chat box. And Kate and Andrew will let me know when those questions come up. But let me just show you a couple more things before we do our Wheel of Happiness.
Exciting stuff.
It is exciting stuff. So before we do the Wheel of Happiness, let me show you this. We are not only introducing you all to these really great authors, but we're also introducing you to their books. We have a Pages Promotions virtual pop-up bookshop on our website that is a direct connection to these books and authors. We are not taking a cut out of these book sales. All the book sales, 100% are going right to the authors. So if you would, please jump on there. You're going to see a full catalog, not just of the books that you've heard readings from during this month, but from all the books that the authors have written, if I could get my hands on the information. I put everything onto the bookshop for you. Also, if you have, if you've ordered a book from another source, not direct from the author, or if you already own a book and you would like a limited edition numbered book plate, you can contact the author through our bookshop on the website, and they'll send one to you free of charge. All you have to do is just click on their name. That will connect you to their email address or the contact page on their website. They will inscribe a book plate for you, and they will send it out into the world for you. Thank you, Kate, for putting that link up there for me. I appreciate it. I try to remember it. So thank you very much for doing that. Okay. Uh-oh, somebody's self-destructing. Oh no. Okay, so we are gonna go on to the Wheel of Happiness. Is everybody ready for this? We're giving away books tonight, as we do every night. And so we're gonna spin the wheel tonight. We are giving away 4 books tonight. One from each one of the authors who read, and a bonus book from me, just because I've got extra inventory, and you know, somebody's got to have these books. Okay, ready? We'll go to the spinning wheel of happiness. Where's my spinning wheel of happiness? Here it is.
It's there. It's
There
there.
it is. Yay! If your name doesn't appear on the spinning wheel of happiness, it is because I didn't get your registration 15 minutes before airtime. So in the future, if you'd like to have your name on the spinning wheel of happiness, make sure you pre-register for our reading events 15 minutes before we go live. Okay?
Yeah, our reading events. I like that.
Yeah, I'm tired. Monday with the book. That's what we're doing. Okay. So here we go. Spinning wheel number 1.
And while it's spinning, let's just sing a song. Sing out loud, sing out up strong.
Yay, Marianne Weiland, you won a book. You know which book you won? Let me show you which book you won. You've won Donnie Winter's Carbon Footprint. Congratulations. Yay! Carbon Footprint by Donnie Winter. Just hearing Donnie read, I think you're going to love this book. Okay.
I do too. It'd be very nice.
Yeah.
We'll all be neighbors with it.
Okay. Spinning wheel of happiness one more time. Does everybody see it? Yay.
There it is.
There it is. Okay, here we go. Spinning wheel of happiness.
Click, 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 click. Yeah!
Yay, Randy Pearson, you won a book. That's extravagant. Okay, ready? Here we go. What you won is my dopey collection, A Duck Quacks. This is a collection of short stories written by Drake, my duck muse. I just typed because, you know, flippers and wings don't work on a keyboard. So there you go. You get that.
And they will whack you up.
Yeah, they might.
That
If
was
you read it
bad.
twice, you'll have a paradox. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. All right. Let's do this one more time. Here we go. Spinning wheel of happiness.
Jingle, 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 jingle.
It actually has circus music. Andrew, you won a book.
I want a
Look at
book.
that. You won a book, Andrew.
Can I donate it to somebody else and we
Well-
spin the wheel again? Because I already have most of these.
Okay.
Let's give it
We
to
will-
somebody who loves books, and I already
All
had.
right.
Actually, I already had Jared. So
Okay. All right. We'll do it again. Thank you for your generosity, Andrew. We'll spin the wheel again. See what happens here.
boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom.
Luba!
Yay!
Yay! Luba Lycician! Yay! Okay, Luba, you get Jared's book, American Fries. This is a great collection of short stories and poetry. You're gonna love this, Luba, because I know your writing style, and there's stuff in here that's really gonna appeal to you. So, congratulations, Luba, and thank you, Andrew, for your happy donation. That was
I
very,
just love
very,
it.
very,
I love
very
it very
kind,
much.
Andrew. You know what's awful is that I know that voice, but I don't know who it's from. So,
I'll give you
right.
a hint.
Okay, give me a hint.
Yeah, you've got to spin the wheel.
All right, I'm spinning the wheel. Okay, ready? Here we go. Last spin.
I love you. You love me.
Oh my
We're a
God.
happy
No.
family.
You do.
Don't do it. Stop doing it. Ryan Nichols.
Oh,
Yay! You win. You get Emma Polova's collection, Shifting Sands. Yay! This, by the way, is the first of a multi-book series. So you're going to love this. Great stuff. Congratulations, everybody. Now, I'm guessing you're probably going to wonder how it is you get your free books. Well, here's how you get your free books. You have to send me an email before midnight tonight. Before midnight tonight, you have to send me an email with your mailing address in it. If I don't get it by midnight tonight, I'm going to put your book back in the rotation and give it away to somebody else at a future Blind Date with a Book event. So make sure my email address is right there in red, diana@pagespromotions.com. Claim your book by midnight tonight. Okay?
yeah. If you don't, it might turn into a pumpkin too. We don't know. It's that midnight thing. It just happens sometimes. So make sure you get it in, because we don't want no pumpkins around Diana's house. It just gets weird.
It gets really weird. Okay, so in addition to the wonderful free books that all of our authors donated to you tonight, we have some authors who have gone a little further in their donation generosity, and we're giving away bonus prizes. Inside of each one of the books that we're giving away, we're going to tuck 3 bonus prize tickets. Just like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you're going to be able to have an opportunity to win these books. When you get your free book in the mail, check it. If it's got a ticket in it, you win. What do you win? Well, the golden ticket, you get a Kindle Fire 7 tablet, and this tablet is ad-free. If you get the silver ticket, you will get the Blood in the Rain prize box donated by Jacob Bullen. He wrote an awesome series, Blood in the Rain. You get the first 2 books of that series and a snazzy hooded sweatshirt. Super cool. And then if you get the bronze ticket in your winning book, you will win Andrew's amazing Masterson Files collection. These are 5 books, a canvas tote bag, and an aluminum tumbler, all from Andrew Smith. So thank you to all of the authors who donated extra prize ticket prizes. I'm super grateful that you guys did that for us, and Andrew, can't thank you enough. So thank you so much. Don't forget, check those books when you get them and find out if your ticket is inside. Does anybody have any questions? Since we have some extra time tonight, if anybody has questions for our featured authors, this would be the time to post them in the chat, and we will get those questions answered. Anybody have questions?
Well, if they don't, I do.
Go, Andrew.
Donnie's fresh blood for me, so I'd like to know. You write with intensity and passion, using a lot of things that have multiple meanings. So for poetry, how long does it take you to, is it daily inspiration, weekly? Once a month, I come up with a terrific poem and I throw the rest of it away. Tell us a little bit about how you write.
Thank you, Andrew, for those kind words, and thank you everyone else for the kind words too. It's an honor to be here, especially reading with such other phenomenal writers. I know Jared very well, so for poetry, like it really depends. I typically try to write one poem a day, just as a challenge for myself, because with my work schedule, I have to be very diligent about telling myself like you need to make time to do what you love to do, and usually like they may end up being a horrible first draft of a poem. They usually will go through frequent drafts, but I try to stay pretty consistent with that. I would say that that's my process that I go with.
So,
Awesome.
so next year you're going to have 365 poems for us. I like it. This sounds good.
Yeah.
365 poems, whether or not they will be good, that's another story.
Well, it's all in how they're interpreted. Someone will always think they're good if they see past what you're writing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can definitely speak to that. I wrote a collection of poetry when I was in my mid-20s, and it sat collecting dust for a long time until my friend Andy Lockwood said, "Oh, just do it. Just, I published it once under a vanity press years ago because that was the way to do it, 30 years ago." And Andy said, "Just republish it, put it together." So I found some other pieces and put it together, but never would have thought anybody would have wanted to read that stuff, and people actually do. So I'm daily surprised by that. Jared, why don't we throw the same question at you? What's your writing process like there? See, Andrew, I'm getting it.
I wish I had the kind of discipline that Donnie does to do a poem a day. I don't. I'm a pretty busy guy like Donnie is, and I got a couple of little kids and a commute, and it's been kind of crazy. But I tend to write in spurts. There'll be a time, sometimes a long period of time when I won't write anything. And then you'll have a week, like last week was for me, when I wrote a couple of stories and polished up another one and wrote a couple of poems. And it really just depends. Sometimes the mood and the inspiration catches me, and then I just go.
And then some days you have to chase after it and hit it over the head with a club.
Yep.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite quotes from Jack London is you have to some days find inspiration and hit it over the head with a club.
And then sometimes you just find it.
Yeah.
Whether it's something that you see on the news, or whether it's just something silly that you see on the internet, or like, okay, well, I'm going to sit down and write about that. So
Yeah.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
We
Emma,
actually-
we had a question for Emma. Are your writings based on your life? Aside from the memoir, are the short stories also based on life experience?
A lot of them are, yes. A lot of them are inspired by reality that I raised to a fictional level. Sometimes actually even the news inspire me, and then I just twist it around and turn it into fiction. I've
Awesome.
done that with pretty much all of my short stories. A lot of them are based in my journalistic experience. Whatever I wrote as human interest stories or even as news stories. So I was able to raise it to that fictional level. I did
Fantastic.
that in a lot of my stories.
That's awesome.
Very awesome.
And Donnie, why did you choose carbon footprint for your title?
I chose the book Carbon Footprint is very much a book about eco activism and LGBTQ plus activism, but I chose Carbon Footprint because one's carbon footprint we leave behind is like the imprint we leave on the world around us, whether that be good, or bad. And I really wanted this book to kind of reflect this notion that we're all leaving something behind. We all should acknowledge it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something horrible or, pollutant-esque. It can be something that is green and meaningful and beautiful.
That's awesome.
Super.
Excellent. Any other questions out there?
There is another one, and we'll just throw this out. What's your preferred writing medium? Quill and scroll, computer, small notepad? And throw it to Donnie first.
I usually prefer a computer. However, if I'm traveling anywhere, I do have a notebook it's like a really nice little cute notebook that I have for writing poems in or just jotting down some ideas. But typically a computer.
Super. Emma, how about you?
iPad. I use my iPad. I
Very
carry it
awesome.
everywhere with me, wherever I go.
Fantastic.
And then I also use my phone.
Portable technology. I love it.
I like it. Okay, Jared, you're on that edge. What do you use?
Whatever is closest to me. Sometimes it's my phone, whether it's Google Docs or my iPhone Notes app. I have a couple of journals too, like the kind Donnie was talking about. That's what I've got, and I've got a pen. Okay, time to do that. Or like I am right now in my office on my laptop. It just depends where I am and whatever's convenient at the time. Because whenever I get an idea, it's got to get down. I got to get something down. Because the last thing I want to do is lose it.
Yep, that happened to me. I woke up a couple of days ago, and my husband was trying to be all like happy and say good morning and stuff. And I said, hush, I want to lose this moment. And I grabbed my phone and turned on the memo feature and typed it. And he's like, but I wanted to say good morning. And I'm like, hush, no, I have to get this before I lose it. So for years, I kept a grease pen in my shower. Because I was constantly losing ideas in the shower. So writing on the walls with a grease pen really helped me in the shower.
Yeah, but it's fun cleaning that off later. We have a good statement in the chat from Randy, back of the napkin. And I've written tons of stuff on the back of napkins, and I'm sorting through poems from years and years ago that are back of napkins, cards. Envelopes are really good after you throw the bill out a bit, right all over the envelope. But, hey,
absolutely. Yeah, Christopher says that he uses his text mail, his voicemail when he's driving, dictate, and then put it on his transcriber at home on his voicemail. What I find interesting about that is I know how much Christopher hates the telephone. And yet it's his go-to medium. So very cool, Chris. Anybody else?
I wish I could remember who it was. I remember reading the other day, it was an indie author said they've written 19 books, all of them on their phone in some way or another, either dictating it, typing it. It was all just like snatching bits of time, standing in line, and you get over people standing in the grocery line looking at you like you're crazy because you're talking into your phone, but 19 books, all 19 of them written on their phone.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine out of Grand Blanc who has written 40 books in exactly that way. He dictates everywhere he goes, and then he transcribes his own dictation, which I find astounding. That's his first draft, is dictation. I could never dictate a first draft.
I could never do that in public because I'd be sitting there going in the grocery line, turning, and yes, he took the blade and slowly inserted it into his temple. There was no blood, but the body fell limp in his arm.
In a moment and a half, he was evierated. Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good.
And then like 2 minutes later, Andrew was dragged out of the store by the cops.
The question would be, who would be dragging who?
The bigger question would be, could they find the files on his computer later?
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, Xander, I get it. Dictating is a tough thing to do, especially if you're dictating for a person. Personally, I don't like listening to my own voice, so dictation for me has always been a struggle. My voice doesn't sound to me like it does to everybody else. So
it's called bone induction. It's okay.
Well, it's worse when you've only got one ear that works. So
understood.
Try that. Okay. Anybody else have questions, comments, silly little anecdotal things? We've got just a couple more minutes that we can share together. While you're thinking about that, I'm going to remind you that we are going to be here tomorrow, February 7th. We are doing inspirational and Christian fiction tomorrow, and you'll want to check in for that. We have a special bonus giveaway that we'll be doing tomorrow, attached to one of the books. So if you like free stuff, tomorrow is a day to definitely attend. Anybody else have questions?
I have one that just popped into my head. So for each of you, what is either the weirdest or the most common question that you get when people find out that you write short stories or poetry? I'm always coming up out of the ether with these crazy philosophical
I would like to say
questions.
Monty Python for an answer.
Ask that one more time, Kate.
So what is either the strangest or the most common question or comment that you get from people when they find out that you write poetry and or short stories?
Jared, you first.
The one that makes me laugh is, do people read them? Stories important, and it might not be that way with poetry much longer, hopefully, with Amanda Gorman's amazing piece at the inauguration.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like, well, I mean, I read them. Like I like reading short stories and poetry a lot, and I suppose that's why I write them. But yeah,
I would say that comment would give you pause as an English teacher.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, I teach them all the time, so my kids are reading them.
Emma, what about you? What's the strangest comment you've received about your writing short stories?
Well, most often people ask me if the short stories are for kids. If they can, they assume that because it's a short story, that it's for kids.
Right. Yeah.
So the moms keep asking me, well, I'll read it first, and then is it okay if my daughter reads? I go, no, I do not. I do not write for children. Just because they're short stories doesn't mean, I know kids have short attention span.
Right. Yeah. The subject matter isn't. Yeah. I ran into that with my collection as well. It's definitely for adults.
They're not for children.
Yeah. Connie, what about you? Strangest comment you've received?
The strangest, I get a couple of strange comments. The first comment that I usually get is that all you do for a living? which is kind of an annoying comment. And then the other strange comment that I typically get is like, poetry? You mean like Shakespeare stuff? And then they end up reading my stuff, and then they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Yes, I'm okay."
Yeah, I'm fine. It's all right. Wow, what fun. This is awesome. I'm so glad everybody came tonight. We had a wonderful discussion. I'm having just a blast with these things. I can't thank the authors enough for donating your time, your energy, your talent, and your books. I'm really, really grateful. I know that people thank me for hosting these events, and I gotta tell you, I'm doing it out of selfishness. I love meeting all of you and hearing all of your work. So thank you very, very, very much. Andrew, go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
And this is an important question because it pertains to short stories. Have you received the Library of Congress number so that you can announce the book?
For simple things, I have not received the Library of Congress number yet. I was just talking to Jared and Donnie about that earlier. I don't know where it is. It's frustrating me to bloody, I can't even begin to explain what. But I'm going to send out another request to them tomorrow, and maybe they'll respond to a direct email rather than going through their website. And we'll try that. In the meantime, thank you for reminding me, we do have another anthology that we're accepting short stories for. It's called Between the Lines. You can find the call for submissions on our website. And it is a collection of only short stories, not poetry, but we're collecting them from anybody who's interested. There's a prompt on the website. The prompt is, what happens if you were to open your book and the book started having a conversation with the reader? How would that change the story, and how would it affect the relationship between the reader and the book? More details about that prompt are on the website. All the proceeds from all of the anthologies that we produce go to serve the World Literacy Foundation. It's a project I'm really passionate about, and I think it's really, really important. And just because Jared's here, he reminded me just by his sheer presence, if you have a student who would like to contribute to our anthologies, for every piece that they contribute, they get 2 hours of community service for the graduation requirement. I know we have that in Michigan. I don't know if any other states have that community service requirement, but in Michigan we do. And we will absolutely give out certificates of accomplishment for that, for students. So something to think about. Thanks, Andrew, for putting that link up. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, tonight. This has been absolutely awesome. Kate, again, thank you for your backstage help. I appreciate it. Andrew, thank you. And authors, Sarah, Donnie, Emma, thank you again for reading. Everybody have a great night.
Night.
Bye.